Greetings. In this devotion today, we are going to look at the nature and character of God and how we can misunderstand God even after walking and seeing God in our day-to-day Christian life and reading about God from the scriptures. For that, we are going to John 14. And John 14, here Jesus is telling the disciples that if you had known me, you would have known my Father also. From now on, you know him and have seen him. And Philip is replying to Jesus saying that, Lord, show us the Father and it is sufficient for us. And Jesus said to him, have I not been with you so long, and yet you have not known me, Philip? Have you? He who has seen me has seen the Father. So the disciples continually saw Jesus, and Apostle John writes it this way in John chapter 1. He writes it, the Word became flesh and he dwelt among us, and we beheld his glory, the glory as of the only begotten Son of the Father, full of grace and truth. Jesus was full of grace and truth. And who was Jesus? How did he conduct himself? In John 13, we see that Jesus washed the feet of the disciples, and he said, if I, your Lord, wash your feet, you also have to wash the feet of another person, one another. And he also says that a new commandment I give to you, that love one another as I have loved you. So these are all the commandments that Jesus is giving the disciples. And as we read, we get to know the nature and character of Jesus and God. And that is what Apostle Paul is also saying in Philippians. He says, let this mind be also in you. And as somebody who claims that we know God, we have to have the same mind, that he is full of grace and truth. And we must also have that grace and truth in our day-to-day life. And we have to take a position of a servant as we walk in our life, serving one another, loving one another without conditions, because our God is a God of full of grace and truth. And he is a kind God. And he humbled himself, and he came to this earth, and he took on a servant role, and he served people. And that is how we know Christ. And that is what Christ is also saying. If you have known me, you have known the Father. And if we claim that we know God, we ought to be servants, and we have to have full of grace and truth.